Shalom. My name is Moreh IshiYAH Yisrael from the House of Israel in Cincinnati, Ohio, 2330 Kemper Lane, bringing to you in 40 minutes or less. In 40 minutes or less, I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the word of Yahweh. Who is this Yahweh? Yahweh is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein. Yahweh is the Elohim of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king, who will save us. Shalom and praise the mighty Yah. Welcome to another program of 40 minutes or less. In this lesson today, lesson 38, we will deal with who is the expert on relationships. And of course, I will bring out 10 different scriptures to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt there's only one expert on relationships, and it's the Most High. And how do I know it? Because he is the one that formed these relationships. He's the one that created these relationships. He's the one that made these relationships. So therefore, he's the only expert on these relationships. And you might ask yourself, well, then who am I? Well, I'm just a representative of this expert. And I speak in his name. And as I stated before, I will show you 10 witnesses to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that not only he's an expert on relationships, but all these relationship gurus on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and all these other social media platforms, they're not experts at all because none of them represent the Most High. But if they did represent the Most High, they would know what I'm about to tell you is the truth. And we will do all this in 40 minutes or less. The first thing you need to know about relationships are the terms of relationships. We're using all kinds of terms that we have no knowledge of. Terms such as husband and wife. Terms such as married. Terms such as man and woman. Father and mother. And we don't even know what these terms mean. Sons and daughters. This is why we got to get back to the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And let's see if you agree with the one that made these relationships. Or are you prideful and haughty to believe that you are an expert? Well, let us see. And we're going to start this in the book of Isaiah, the 54th chapter. And watch what this says. Isaiah 54. And this is what it says in verse 5. For thy maker is thy husband. In other words, Yahweh is making it crystal clear. Not only he is your maker, but he is your husband. But this word husband, what do it mean? Well, according to the scriptures, it comes from the Hebrew word but all, which means master. Because little do people know that's what a husband is. He's a master. And I'll show you who he's master of, but most of the people on social media ain't going to tell you that a husband is a master. Most of the women are not going to tell you that a husband is the master, because then that put that husband in a certain position. Well, of course it does. It put him in a position where Yahweh want him to be, because Yahweh is a husband. And watch what it says. For thy maker is thy husband. Yahweh of hosts is his name. And thy redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the Elohim of the whole earth, shall he be called. So we're not just talking about some angel. We're not talking about somebody born. We're talking about the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. And he is not only a husband, he's thine husband. Witness number 2, because we're talking about relationships. It ain't no sense of anybody trying to advise and counsel on relationships, talking about they know relationships, and they don't even know what these words mean. Watch this in the book of Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter. Witness number 2. In the book of Jeremiah 3, and this is what it says in verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, says Yahweh. For I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, 2 of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Again, not only he says he is thy husband, but he said he's married unto you. And what do you think this word married means? As I stated before, they're not going to tell you these things on social media, because they don't even know what these terms mean. Well, the word married means master. And so at the point that a husband marries a wife, when a man marries a woman, he becomes her master. Because that's exactly what Yahweh did. He's the husband, and he's married to you. And they both means master. But why aren't we hearing that? Why isn't that being taught? Well, the reason why it ain't being taught is because Yahweh allowed Satan, he allowed the wicked to have dominion. But Yahweh is returning with his word so that the crooked things can be made straight. And Yahweh wants to straighten out all the relationships. And your relationship is not going to be straight until you submit yourself to his word. Not to me, not to a man, but to the word of Yahweh. The third witness. Watch this. Not only Yahweh is a husband, not only Yahweh is married to you, watch what it says in the book of Genesis, the 1st chapter, where it all began. Genesis 1. Witness number 3. In the book of Genesis, the 1st chapter, and this is what it says in the 26th verse. And it says, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And if you really understand what you just read, you would understand, you will see that Yahweh made man in his own image and after his own likeness. And there's a difference between man and woman. Yahweh is talking about man. He's not talking about woman because they two different things. They mean two different things. And they were made two different ways. Man, according to, which is the fourth witness, man was made to have dominionship, rulership. That's what it says in the 26th verse. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Man was given dominion over the creation of Yahweh. So they wasn't just made in his image, which I'm going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. It is his image that he made man, not woman, because those are two different words altogether. Two different species altogether, and made two different ways altogether. Furthermore, not only he's a husband, he's married, he made man in his image and likeness and gave him dominion over everything in the earth. He's the top dog in the earth over all Yahweh's creation. But watch this. In the book of Malachi, which is the fifth witness. Because being a husband, being married, being a man, they'll tell you a man don't make you nothing. Well, yes, it does. It does make you something. And I'm going to show you what it makes you when you're married and when you're a husband. You got dominion. That makes you the top dog in the earth. But watch what else it makes you. In the book of Malachi, the first chapter. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this because they tried to make man real low. They tried to make man equal to a woman. They tried to make man inferior. But not Yahweh. We see what Yahweh making man after his image and after his likeness, giving him dominion over his creation. Watch what it says in the book of Malachi, the first chapter. And this is what it says in the 6th verse. A son honors his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father. In other words, Yahweh, the one that he made in his image and his likeness, is a father. And he said, well, I'm a father also. Where's my honor? Since you're supposed to honor your father. And if I be a master, and Yahweh is a master because he's married, he's a husband, he has dominion, he has rulership. And if he be a master, where is my fear? Says Yahweh host, unto you, O priests that despise my name. And ye say, wherein have we despised thy name? And this is what a lot of people are doing today. They despise the name of Yahweh by virtually disagreeing with him. And he's the maker. He's the one that created us. He's the one that formed us. And to prove that he did this, and he did it by letting you know this. Watch this. Malachi, the second chapter. Since we're in Malachi, this is how you know beyond a shadow of doubt. He said he was a father. He said he was a master. Why didn't he say he was a woman? Why didn't he say he was a wife? Because he's not. Why would he have the same titles as a man? A husband, married, dominion, a father, a master. Why these titles? Because he made man in his own image and after his own likeness. In the book of Malachi, the second chapter, the 10th verse, watch this. Have we not all one Father? Well, in truth, we do. We only got one Father, not two, not three, not Father in heaven and Father on earth and Father the Holy Ghost. That's all lies. We only got one Father, and his name is Yahweh. Have not one Elohim created us? Only one Elohim, only one Father. Why do we deal treacherously, every man against his brother, by profaning the covenant of our fathers? Because the covenant was made with our fathers. We didn't have covenants made with our mothers and fathers. No, the covenant was made with our fathers. Yahweh only commanded our fathers. And I'm going to prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I'm going to just show you one thing that Yahweh did command the woman, the wife. Only one thing. Out of this whole, all the commandments, he only commanded her one thing. In other words, anytime Yahweh spoke his commandments, he spoke that to our fathers. All the covenants to our fathers. All the laws, commandments, statutes, and judgments to our fathers, with the exception of one time. I'm not talking about prophecy. Prophecy is different. Yes, he used women to prophesy many things, but I'm talking about commandment, like he spoke to them by commandment. It was only one time, and I'm going to show you that one time. But before I show you that one time, well, no, let me show you that now. And watch this. In the book of Genesis. And right before I show you that one time, because I'm going to show you that, but watch what the Creator said in Genesis, the second chapter. Which I may add is our seventh witness. Because our fifth witness was the fact that he's our one Father. The sixth witness was he's not just our one Father, but he's our one Elohim. Only one created us. And now we're at the seventh witness. In the book of Genesis, the second chapter, and watch what it says. And I'm going to read Genesis 2 and 15, and watch what it says. And Yahweh Elohim took the man. He's not talking about mankind. He's not talking about the woman and the man. Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. This is what he commanded the man, not the woman. Not at this time. She wasn't even made. She wasn't even designed. She wasn't even formed. She wasn't even created. This is what he commanded the man. And all the laws, all the commandments, all the statutes, all the judgments, all the covenants went through our fathers. Again, except for one commandment. And I'm going to show you what that one is. But also, watch this, the 18th verse, which is our 8th witness. That was our 7th. Genesis 2:18. And Yahweh Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. In other words, he was all by himself. I will make him a helpmeet for him. So when Yahweh set his commandment in the earth of man, he hadn't even made a woman yet. He commanded the man, and then he began to let the man know, well, it's not good that you should be alone. So he made him a helpmate. And then, not only made him a helpmate, but watch this 9th witness to prove also that it was the man that had dominion over everything. The 20th verse. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. Now you notice it switched from man. It's not good that man should be alone. Then it switched to a name, Adam. Well, Yahweh, it never, ever said, well, I'm going to call him Adam, or this would be his name, Adam. It just switched to Adam, but all Adam mean is man. And all man mean is Adam. So this is what he was called from the beginning. So there was no time where a name was given to him, because this was his name at the beginning. They just introducing this name to everybody at this time. And watch what it says again. The 19th verse, I started at the 20th verse. And out of the ground Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field, every fowl of the air, and brought them unto man, or Adam, to see what he will call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And why? Because he had dominion. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, to the fowl of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmeet for him. It wasn't found a helpmeet. So Yahweh is going to give him a helpmeet, which is the 10th witness. Let me show you what this helpmeet actually means and what it is. 21st verse, the 10th witness. And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs, closed up the flesh instead thereof. In other words, what is this rib? This rib is an opening in the flesh that Yahweh opened up and then closed it back. And the rib, or the opening, the wound, which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. 2 different species. This is not how he made man. If you want to know how he made man, just let us read the 7th verse. 2 and 7. And Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground, breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. That's not what he said about woman at all. So woman means something totally different than man. And man means something different than woman, because they're two different species altogether. And only one of them was given dominion. Watch what it says in the 23rd verse. And this is how Adam described his helpmate, how he described a woman. This is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Just one flesh. That's it. And what are we proving? Well, who the experts? Who is the experts in your relationship? Well, if it ain't Yahweh, then you don't have an expert at all. This is the expert, the one that formed relationships, made relationships, the one that created relationships. The very terms he used put the man to have dominion, the husband to be the master, to be married, to be master, and a father. Yes, this is how Yahweh actually formed relationships. Without this, there are no relationships. And anything that contradicts this is a lie. And let me show you this, because I said I was going to show you this. The one time Yahweh commanded the woman, and it was in judgment. And look what he said to the woman in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Something that women don't want to do. Something that they don't like doing. And something that you're not going to hear on social media. And watch what it says. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, the 16th verse. Unto the woman, he said. He didn't say unto mankind, unto the woman, because that's what she is. Just calling her woman describe what she is. How she was made, how she was formed. Unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. He's talking to her directly. And thy desire shall be to thy husband. The first time Yahweh would even use the word husband in the scriptures. Your desire is supposed to be to your husband, and he shall rule over thee. In other words, even though a man was already made to be the master, made to have dominion, the Almighty went straight directly to the woman and said this to her, where she has no excuses to say, no, but this is such and such and such. No, he said this directly to you, that your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. So even if you didn't believe the terms that Yahweh used, a husband being a master, being married is a master, and a father is supposed to be honored, and a master is supposed to be feared. Even if you didn't believe those terms, Yahweh said this directly to the woman. Now ask yourself, will you honor the one Father? Will you fear the true one Master, who is Yahweh, our Elohim? Or will you continue to be haughty and do what you want to do? And will the man continue to allow himself to succumb to lies and deceit and not fulfill who he was made, designed, formed, and created to be? What would you do? And ask yourself, who is the expert in your relationships? Is it TikTok? Is it YouTube? Is it Facebook, Instagram, and all these other places where you go to get your knowledge? There's only one that can give you knowledge of these things, true knowledge of these things, and that's the Creator. And the Creator is not speaking to you directly. But if he is, we want to hear what he got to say. But until then, I'm his representative that will teach you the truth about Yahweh's expertise on relationships. There are no other experts. There's only one, and that's Yahweh, our Elohim. Until our next lesson, Yahweh love you, and so do I. Shalom.